Hi, my name is Terri Sproul and I want to welcome you to my studio. Today one of the things that I want to teach you how to do is make a pair of wings like I have on this doll here. These are kind of more like a butterfly wing, but once you've learned the basic technique you can make all kinds of wings. This particular set of wings that I have on her is more of a steampunk wings, and you can actually see where I've embedded stuff into the wings. The gears and stuff. So I'm going to teach you how to make the butterfly ones, but these are basically the same idea. So once you learn the technique, you can run with this idea and have a lot of fun. So let me put these two to the side, and I'm going to show you one more little project that's really fun to make, and that is this one. See this one? And this has got the wings also on it. And these are kind of, again, more like a butterfly type wing. Okay, so we're going to come down to my little desktop here and we're going to get going. Okay. Now I've done a little bit of prep work for us already, just to make things go a little quicker because we are filming and it's hard to wait for me to let everything dry. You want to start off with a transparency. I get these at the office supply store, and it doesn't matter if it's smooth on one side and rough on the other. It's just you want to get a transparency. Any transparency will work. The cheaper the better, actually. And you can actually use plastic from packaging or something like that also. You don't have to use necessarily a transparency that you bought. Then I get myself a image of some wings, and you can get this image out of a something like a children's book, or you could go on the internet and find something, but you just basically need a shape. And then I take the transparency and I lay it over top of my drawing that I have of my wings. Then I'm going to take some wire. I love artistic wire. It's personally one of my favorite brands to use, and this one is the 20 gauge. I like the 20 to 22 gauge, and you can use whatever color wire you want. This particular design that I'm doing for this project, I am using the silver, but they have all kinds of colors, and the more colors you have, the more fun you have. So get some wire from Artistic Wire, the best company out there for their wire. Their wire is really awesome. And I also use some super glue, or you can use, this is actually from Scott's, and it's a quick drying adhesive. It dries completely clear and it dries pretty quickly. So you could use that, or super glue, whichever you have around the house, whichever you prefer to work with. I know some people hate to work with super glue. So the first thing you want to do, and I've already done this off camera, is basically do these two shapes. You know what? This is sitting the wrong way. There we go. You want to do the outline of the butterfly wings right here, and then you want this straight line right there. So those are the two that you want to do right off the bat. And what I do is I just take a piece off of my wire, I take my glue and I run a bead of glue right along that edge that I want, and then I just lay my wire into the glue and cut it off and let all that dry. And that's the easy part. So I did all that off camera for you. And then the next part is you can come in and put some loops in here, or all kinds of designs. It's really up to your imagination at this point. But I want to show you how to make a loop, because loops are really super easy to make. I just take my wire, and I'm going to come up close here so that you guys get a real good, let me pull some off here so you guys get a real good look at that, since we are working with something very small. And I just grab the end and I just pull it in. See that? And I've got a perfect loop. And I'm going to open that back up and show you again from this edge. So again, I just grab this end right here and I just pull it in and make a loop. And I have a perfect loop, and then I would cut that off. And if you want your loops to be smaller, I just will grab and make a smaller loop. See, there's my smaller loop. Let me see, get you a good picture of that. So and then I just cut it off, and I do use wire cutters. I do suggest that, but you know, you can use your scissors. It just ends up ruining your scissors. And then you've got your little loop there for your butterfly wings. Okay, so and then what I also do, this is another really good hint I want to show you, is I would make all of my loops first and I lay them in here and I get it all pleasing where my eye is, where I like everything. And then I will go back in and grab my glue and put a little dab of glue down, and then I put my little loop right into that and I let that dry. And that's why you want to use a quick drying glue, because that takes a little while to dry. So once you've got all of your loops done and on, you will have something that looks like that. Now I am going to put a white piece of paper underneath that just so you can see a little better on camera. There you go. That looks a little better. I'm going to pull this up close so you can see. So I have my 2 wires like that. Those are one piece. I have 2 straight pieces, and then I put 2 loops up on top and 1 on the bottom, 2 loops up on top and 1 on the bottom. And those are my wings at this point. Now I get to have fun and start decorating these wings. I'm going to move this a little towards me here. And how I want to decorate them is I am going to use a brand new product out by Sakura. And it is using their 3D crystal lacquer and their brand new paints that just came out, and they are called Terri Sproul's mixers. The jewel effects, they have pearls, and they have also have shimmers. The pearls are more of a solid color and the shimmers are more of a translucent color. So depending on what you want, and everything works on the butterfly wings. So it's really up to you on what colors you want, etc., etc. So I am going to use a little jar to mix my mixers into, but you could actually do this directly onto your Teflon sheet. I poured a little of the crystal lacquer into my little jar, and now I'm going to grab a toothpick. These are actually those toothpicks that I get at a restaurant supply store. They kind of have a pick at the end and then a little more of a round edge towards the top. And I use that because you need very little of this powder to make the paints. I am actually making a Christmas doll here. Yes, I know it's not even close to Christmas, but I want to send this into a magazine. So I'm just using a very small amount, as you see, and I'm going to put that right into the crystal lacquer. And then you start mixing, and then this becomes a paint that you can do all kinds of really cool things with. You can paint on just about any surface, even including glass. This will stick to glass. You can also paint on metal, wood, paper, just about any medium you can think of, this paint will stick to. And look how pretty this green is. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this green. Then you can use a paintbrush, but I'm actually going to just use my toothpick that I started with here, and I'm just going to put some into these little wire ovals that I made earlier and glued down. So I'm just going to continue to fill that in, and I would do all 4 of my, there's 4, 5, 6 total of these little loops that I would do. So I would continue to make these loops and fill this up with the lacquer. And you don't need a lot of this. You pour it in there, and what's nice about the toothpick is you can kind of, nudge it to go exactly where you want it to go. And I filled in those little areas that quickly. Make sure I'm not off camera here. Oh yes, you can still see perfectly. Great. So I'm just filling in each of those little sections with the paint, the mixers, and I'm using the green here because, like I said, I'm kind of making a Christmas doll here. I'm sending this into a magazine they are featuring this product in the magazine. Here's another thing that I made that would be really pretty to put a pair of wings on. Put the wings right in between. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? Kind of reminds me of this one a little. This one's made out of paper clay right here, this bust. This bust is made out of resin and some leftover pieces of the mixers when they're dry. And I'll teach you that in another technique, in another video. Also, if you join me on Monday nights, every Monday night I do a live show. You can go right to my blog, which is terrisproul.blogspot.com, and there is a link up on the top. There's 3 little tabs on the top of my blog, and one of them says weekly live stream, and that is a link that will take you directly to my live show on Monday night. So if you enjoy my videos here on YouTube, and I really appreciate all of you guys who do enjoy my videos, you can join me live on Monday nights. And what's great about joining me live is if you have a question or something, I can answer them live for you. So what I am doing as I'm talking is getting my crystal lacquer with my nib on it ready to do the next step. It had a little bit of a clog up in the top, and I'm just putting a little bit of a wire in there and getting it all. There it is. It's flowing perfectly. Now, they also, Sakura came out with another product this winter CHA show. Let me put the lid on it so I don't dump it. And it's also the Terri Sproul's mixers, and these are called our Glitz Effects. And what these are is more of a chunky, thick, glittery type product. And we have it in a few different colors. This one is actually a reds and greens and golds, which is perfect for my Christmas theme that I've got going. Now what I want to do next is I want to use my crystal lacquer clear with the nib on it. And I'm going to basically finish up these parts of this wings. And I want to take my crystal lacquer and put it from this wire to this wire and then out again. So if you think about a butterfly, it kind of has a little bit of a jaggery edge, and it kind of comes in like that. And then it's going to come out like that again, and kind of, sort of like that. It's kind of what a basic butterfly wing looks. Then I take the chunky stuff, the Glitz Effects, and I just lay it right into that. And I actually use my fingers to put it on. No fanciness here. And I don't want to get it into that green that I have going because it's still wet, so it would grab that, and I don't want it to. So I am trying to be somewhat careful. And what I usually end up doing also is once I've got it down basically like that, I will take a toothpick again, and I will kind of manipulate it to go into those little sections that I put the crystal lacquer. So I can just kind of force it to go where I want it to go and not where it wants to go. Stay away from all those sections that are still wet. And I would let that sit up for about 10 minutes or so. And then I would knock off the leftovers, whatever didn't stick into the crystal lacquer here. And then I would put that back into the jar because it's all good, and continue to use it at a later date. And I would do that with both sides here. So I'm going to real quickly do this side. Okay, put my lid back on so I don't have a clog again. Grab this and start sprinkling again. Isn't this fun to make wings like this? I just have so much fun. I make these wings all the time now. I mean, everything gets wings. Everything gets wings, because everything needs wings. Okay, and again, I would go in and, manipulate all these pieces to go where I want them to. Especially getting them away from this other stuff that's wet. Now, I'm not going to be able to do this right now on camera because everything's still wet. But what I would do next to continue to make my wings, and I'm going to show you with this one right here, is I would mix up some 3D crystal lacquer again in a little jar with just the ultra fine glitter, and this is really, really pretty ultra fine glitter. And once I got that mixed up, I would do that same technique that I filled in those sections, and I would fill in the rest of the butterfly wings so that it would get this effect right here. You see that glitter? And it's kind of hard to see because it is clear, but you do get a little bit of the the look of it. So I would fill in all of those sections, and then my butterfly wings are done. Once those are completely dry, what I do is I take my pair of scissors and I cut right along the edge of this wire right here, right along the edge of the butterfly wings. Sometimes, and not always, it depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes I will connect these two wings by not cutting the center out right here. So I would come around and then I would come across and then cut down. So I would come across here, cut across there, and cut down. So basically that would leave this section. I would do top, come down, come across, and then go back up. So I have this section right here in the center still attaching the two wings. And that's what I use to adhere to the back of projects like this bust that I have right here. I could glue that center that I'm not cutting out right here onto the back, and then I'd have the wings. And sometimes I cut it as one solid piece. Sometimes I just need one wing, so I'll cut just a part of it out. And I always leave something right here to attach to. So when you cut out, think about that, how you want to attach your wings to your whatever you're putting them on. I hope that you join me on Monday nights and that you enjoy all my videos and that you make a pair of wings for yourself, because these turned out really cute so far. Look how cute these are going to be. I'm going to lift these up. And remember, not everything's glued down yet because it's still... See how pretty that's turning out? Thank you for joining me again. Take care. Bye-bye.